talk itself is accompanied by prayer. As very rightly we believe that it's an offering of worship to God, because food and the material things that we enjoy are given by God, and therefore we express gratitude. We do not claim that this is our right, that we really want to show that everything good comes from God. Today there are people who fast. There are sicknesses called anorexia nervosa and bulimia. There are people who have the habit of renouncing food. This has become a very big sickness now in Western society, especially the girls who are renouncing food to look good, to be slim and so on, which is actually a negation of God's gift. Because in Christian faith we are taught that the most important belief, which I believe is true of Islam and other religions too, that life is God's gift. Life is God's gift, therefore if life is God's gift, we have a duty to preserve it, we have a duty to protect it, we have a duty also to respect the lives of others. We cannot kill, we cannot destroy life through abortion or euthanasia or other means, because life does not belong to me. I have no right over the lives of others. My work, my mission in life should be to enhance the life of others. Therefore we find in the church there are a lot of medical services, activities. If you read the life of Jesus, you'll find he spent a lot of his time healing people, bringing people to wholeness of life, because he believed that life is God's gift. Every person has a right to live with dignity, with respect, and that's very, very important. And therefore, we also have a duty to ensure that our life is preserved. Therefore, a fast unto death is not recommended. A fast that might do harm to me, I may be a teacher, I may be a housewife, I need to fast for it to the extent that I am not hampered from fulfilling my duty. A teacher who fasts, who do not go to teach, is not doing anything that is really commendable in front of God, because his fast does not really be transformed into service. His service is affected. Therefore, in fast, it's very important that we show respect. We also restrain people from doing fast excessively to the extent that it may cause harm to one's life. And therefore, fast is very much voluntary. It is self-imposed. It is exhorted, it is encouraged, but one must decide. In the Bible we read many times fasts were undertaken when people made important decisions, important choices. Jesus fasted before he chose his 12 disciples. He went to the mountain and spent the whole night in prayer and fasting, because he wanted the Spirit of God to guide him, that he may make correct choice. So we might undertake a fast when we are discerning God's plan, God's will, because that is a time when we are able to understand God speaking to us. Through fasting and prayer, we may be able to discover God's will, God's plan in our life. And there are other instances whenever important decisions were made. In the Bible we see that the community fasted and they prayed and they were enlightened. Before undertaking important activities, the disciples of Christ fasted. Therefore there is no force, but there is a loving duty to fast. And this is a very important attitude that we all should have. We do not fast because we are afraid that God will punish me if I do not fast. Many religions instill fear of God. Sometimes sacrifices are made. Sometimes activities are done in religion because we think that God is very harsh with me, he will punish me. That is not the intention. It's a loving offering of our own, something that we consider very dear, we sacrifice that. Therefore prayer is the fasting is a sacrifice. It is something that we deny to ourselves. Secondly, fasting is not something by which it is an arm twisting. We can get things done by forcing God to do something. Recently I was told about a joke. In a church there was a big statue of Saint Anthony. So a man went, he was drunk, he went and prayed, he said, I need 10,000 rupees. God gave me, sent me 10,000 rupees. So otherwise I'll break you. he told that statue he would break. So the man, the one who was in charge of the church, he overheard this prayer. So he was afraid this man might break the statue. So he took away that statue and hid it. And he brought a small murti he kept in the church. So next day this man came, he looked there around, he saw that big person was missing, the small one was there. And he asked, "Where is your daddy?" So he asked him, because I had demanded 10,000 rupees from him. Well, this is a joke, but we do not fast, we do not pray with a demand. You cannot kidnap God and say, "Okay, give me this, otherwise I will not let you go." We cannot use arm twisting methods, but prayer requires, fasting requires a lot of humility. It is a self-abnegation. And this is so beautifully expressed in Islamic prayer when we bow to the ground. You can see when people pray, everyone is bowing down. It's an act of humility. Humility means touching the earth, that realizing that we are very much like the earth. So when we are fasting, not only our bodily impurities are purified, our spiritual, our psychological, our mental impurities are also got rid of, because our ego, our selfishness will melt away and we become very, very humble people. We begin to realize that we are not the powerful people, we are humble instruments of God. And that will help us to really come close to God. Because God detests the proud, God will elevate, exalt the humble. And the humble will certainly be able to see God, will be able to experience God. However knowledgeable we may be, however powerful we may be, we know that our life is not in our hand. Our life cannot be controlled by our own planning, our own scheming. Therefore, we have to surrender humbly before God, allow God to operate in us through the means of our fasting. We come close to God, we begin to become less important and allow God to operate through us. And when we do that, we don't have to put on a show. People will discern a person. Today, we are witnessing so much religious disharmony, conflicts in various kinds. Most of these problems are not religious problems, I believe. They are social problems. They are ego problems, and one person wants to become superior to the other. That we try to put down others. But if you really believe what our own religions are teaching, we will learn to respect each other. We will learn to, as Swamiji rightly said, we will learn to love each other. He gave a beautiful example. In a country like India, where so many different religious communities are living together, side by side, or people live in harmony. But sometimes people take advantage of these religious differences to create conflict, to create violence, to create disharmony, and to divide people. In the process, many innocent lives are lost. So it should be our mission. The word Islam stands for peace, and we invoked prayer for peace. And all religions are advocating peace, all religions advocate harmony. So when we pray, when we fast, whatever may be the name of that God to whom we pray, we are certainly making ourselves come close to God. And it's very, very important. In Kerala, we have a Hindu saint called Sri Narayana Guru. I think some observation is being held in Delhi today. And he had a very important saying that whatever may be the religion, the most important thing is to be a good human being. If we are not a good human being, we cannot superimpose religious teachings. We might read the Quran, we might go for Islamic studies, I might do Christian theology, I may learn the Bible by heart, I might know the Puranas and the Upanishads, I may become a scholar, but if I am selfish, if I am greedy, if I am not peace-loving, then my learning is of no use. What is important is to be first and foremost to be a very good human being. That's a very, very basic foundation on which we can build other values. And I believe exercise like fasting or prayer is a process by which we come close to God. We get rid of whatever is unwanted in our life and we become more God-like. And when we become more God-like, we certainly are becoming a very good human being. And that is what is important in our